I really just love this 7-day sketch by Leahy, and I think it's going to pair really well with day 4 sketch that I did with a first Christmas at my parents' house. So going along those lines, I knew what direction I was going in, so I punched out or die cut some more snowflakes out of the gold foil paper. I also did some more cutting of my improvised Christmas tree, I'll call it. And then these are the papers that I have left from the Christmas story pack from Close to My Heart. And I knew that the base of the layout for the left side had this red as its background, and it also had like a chevron pattern running across it. So that's what I was going to try to do here, is instead of the arrows pointing in, I was going to kind of combine more of those chevrons across the page. That's also why I picked the Harbor cardstock as my base, because my chevrons for Tuesday's layout were of the Harbor color and the scarlet. I have these 5 photos, excuse me, and they're smaller, they're older photos, so I went ahead and matted them on white cardstock. And I thought about, like, especially cutting this one down, but I love seeing my parents' house, and, you know, that's what I grew up in, and like that clock, that was a place that my dad used to work, and we also used to go to Tigers games, so all of those memories are still there. I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece of red down. Like I said, I knew that I had to have it to kind of counterbalance the left side of this. And then I love the stripes. In the layout for today, you can see that there's kind of some layers behind the photo, and the stripes are going to work perfect for me. I'm looking at the little scraps I have, and this little piece with the stripe I think is the perfect length. So I have these that I'm going to make banners out of, and then I cut just ribbon ends off of them. I did that off camera so you don't have to see all that. But I, again, just going with the sketch. And normally, especially as of late, I totally would have done this as a mixed media, but because of the chevron of the layout from Tuesday, and then the arrows on this for today, I just thought that it made more sense to do the Christmas paper a more traditional, or I don't even want to say traditional because that's not the right word, but my normal style, or the style that I'm most comfortable with. The mixed media is relatively new to me and something that I have to work at or play at. I'm actually finding it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you here how I put the flip flaps on, and because I wanted one up, one down, and then the one in the middle, and it kind of tells the story of us coming into the room to see where the Christmas tree is, and then we're opening gifts, and then kind of at the end there's no more gifts under the tree. So the first thing I do is I start the strip where the adhesive is, lay it down, and then you pull the strip off so that it doesn't move as much for me at this point. And I didn't glue down the other layers yet. I'm starting with the mat behind the photos and making sure that those are overlaid as they should be. So here, just lining up the edges of those flip flaps, pull off the strip, and those are adhered and ready to go. And then I'll add this one in the middle, and voila, we've got 5 photos in 1 photo space, and I love that. So now as I go to do the layers behind my photo, I'm pulling out the new T-square ruler from Close to My Heart. It has magnetics to hold the 2 pieces together. It also has holes in the long side so that you can do piercing for stitches, or if you just want to pierce an image onto your project, and I absolutely love that. So I started to put adhesive on the back, and I've been watching other YouTubers, and they create their vignette for their photos so that they can move it more, and I thought that that was brilliant. So now I'm putting the glue on the stripe side and tucking it in underneath my photo collage, and this way, like I said, I'll be able to move it and adjust it as the layout advances and kind of presents itself. I know I've heard people that write stories talk about how that the characters just took them in a different way, or the story just flowed and took them in a different direction, and I find that sometimes happens to me, especially when I'm open to it in my scrapbooking, of there's this thing that's on my desk to the side that I never thought about using, but all of a sudden it's the perfect embellishment or paper or object for my layout. So I thought if I can get myself in the habit of creating these clusters for my photos that are movable, then it'll make it easier later on to allow those opportune moments to happen. I decided I needed something in that upper right corner, just like Karen has on her sketch. And so I thought, again, with the banner ends, I'm going to do it that way. I decided on the dark background, again, to give some balance between the banner that's under the photo and up top. It kind of draws your eye through there. I went ahead and glued those down, the chevron, my old chevrons, as into arrows. I'm not going to do the stitching on them just because there's not stitching on the left hand page, but I wanted to show you here how I assemble. It's a leaf die that I was looking at, and I decided, oh, this could make into a Christmas tree or a evergreen. It doesn't have to be a Christmas tree. So I cut 2 layers out of the Christmas story paper, and then as you saw, I inked all the edges, and now I'm going ahead and grabbing my glue, and I put it just down the trunk of the tree, and then I overlay it, but I don't do it one on top of the other. I slide the top one up so that it's a fuller evergreen tree. And you don't have to have the reverse tweezers to hold it. I kind of like that, just I don't have to think about it. I'm not going to get glue on my desk. These are tags that I had cut the other day, and again, I just had grabbed my Christmas stamps and the tags, and I thought, all right, this is good. I put tags and stuff on the left hand page. I will have them here. I grabbed a black floss, and I like to do 4, basically take a strand and fold it twice, so you end up with 4 strands coming out of the top of the tag. And so that's exactly what I did here. I'll do that again for another tag, but I'm trying to decide where to place it, and then I realize I don't need to see the lamp in that, but I do want to see the presents that are under the tree. So making sure that the flip-flap folds, and originally it was like, oh, you have a tag on top of a tag, but it's not too busy in my world because it actually just kind of repeats that element, so you never lose that element of the tag being there. Once you open the first flip flap, it's there, and then you get to see it again for the very under part. So I'm grabbing back my tweezers here because for me, it's sometimes hard to get that thread through, and I just use the tweezers and pull it right through, and it's easy, and then I don't have to make my thread so long and cut off so much. I always feel like I need to save my supplies because I might want it someday. And after 16 plus years of scrapbooking, I don't need to save supplies. I need to use them and not store them and get my photos into albums. So here I'm going to grab some of those trees that I had done previously and the snowflakes. I'm kind of dry fitting. If you've watched my channel, you know that I dry fit, and I dry fit, and I will dry fit again. And for me, visually, moving something just a fraction of an inch can really change how a layout or a project or a card feels to me. And I try to find that happy place where as I'm working, I can feel my body relax, and it's kind of like it's comfortable, it's inviting, it's not jarring. I know art can be jarring, and that's not my happy place, especially with scrapbooking. So I try to find that spot where I put something down and my body just goes, ah. So I added that tag, spoiler alert, this is not a car, under the cluster of my photos. And then this enjoy these moments, simply enjoy these moments, I think was from the September stamp of the month. And I just, again, it was on my desk. I had stamped a couple of those for cards, and one was just laying there, and I'm like, okay, this is perfect. On the sketch, we have the banners that kind of give it that horizontal element, and I'm going to use this message or this, these words, simply enjoy these moments, to give that same feel. And this layout came together quickly. Now I'm showing you the left-hand page with the right-hand page. I think it works. They're not matchy-matchy, but they're definitely companions. In the description below the video, you will find the playlist for all of those playing along this month for the 31 days of sketches, which are exclusive. Here's another video you may be interested in. Be kind to yourself. Be a blessing. Thanks.